The house, Mr. Greg. Please let jump, sir.
Judge, this Greg is 17 years old. He's currently charged with a third-degree felony. He has no prior record. He did have a misdemeanor marijuana case that was handled, I believe, in juvenile diversion.
It was a felony, Judge. It was a THC vape pen back in 19. It was dismissed.
Okay.
He resides in a home with his father. His mother passed away in 2016, but he has siblings and another adult in the home. Judge, he has, under the score sheet, this is a level 4, and he scores absolutely no mandatory prison at all. So, potential worst case scenario is a non-state or a state sanction, non-incarcerative sanction for him.
I wouldn't say that's the worst case scenario.
That's
not the worst case scenario.
Well, unless the judge finds.
Right, unless the judge finds.
Some special finding, Judge, that's what he was for. And so I say all that to say he poses no flight risk. He has no job, so whatever bond the court should set is going to be paid by his father, who's trying to keep his whole family supported.
Gotta keep up my reputation.
Asked for a pretrial release on this case with the condition that he not be school property during the pending pendency of this case, and no contact with any school official or witness.
Want to charge him with grand theft of a firearm?
Judge, the facts as allowed or as stated in the complaint are not exactly what we have been told has happened. I think County can clear this up further. What we have learned is that the gun was actually purchased and that he has disclosed to law enforcement who he purchased that gun from.
Okay, so the complaint
Judge,
affidavit. Gotcha.
And to clarify, his father had seized 2 guns from him prior, so this is the 3rd gun that was not collected.
Your Honor, I would like to say those guns were legally owned. They were brought to my house by a friend when we went shooting the weekend before.
Judge, I don't know that it makes much difference, but
It makes some difference to me that he's got guns all the time.
Well, my friend was actually supposed to be coming to pick those up that weekend, Your Honor.
But you need to keep your mouth shut, please.
That's probably the best advice.
I state all that to say.
I mean, nobody's more pro Second Amendment than me. Nobody.
Yes, Judge, and I don't think it's entirely outrageous.
What's up, people? What's up, everybody? Oh my God, I can't believe we hit 10K in under 4 months. It's all because of you, and you. Thank you so much. I have a surprise for everybody this week. We're going to have a 10K celebration. I can't believe it. Thank you to everybody. You guys are the best, and we're still rolling. I can't believe it, guys. It is unbelievable. I can't thank you enough. So let's have some fun. See my man Marino in the background. Greatness all around. How we doing? What's up? Let's do it. Let's get it going. First, I'm going to have some vault clips, and then I am going to go to the main event. I hope everyone's having a safe Memorial Day, and I just want to say I put Happy Memorial Day. I didn't want to offend any veterans that are alive. I know it's a somber day for those who have lost their lives in battle, and I apologize if I offended anybody. Didn't mean to, but I thank everyone who's alive for their service, and I thank the families of those who lost their lives. Thank you so much. Grab your membership. Let's get it rolling. Judge Van in the house. Let's get it going. people. Let's roll. Thank you, Monica. Thank you, Mr. Right. Day one people. It's when I had
It's,
one
it's a little
subscriber.
outrageous. You guys keep taking guns from him though, and then he ends up with one at school.
Yeah,
Allegedly.
Also state that, one of my, this pistol has been
Okay.
parking lot. Possession.
Okay.
The allegation is, so the complaint, I think its facts have developed, and certainly, was sufficient for, County to be able to.
Laura with the dono. Thank you so much, Laura. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Laura, day one. My mods are the best. I love the logos today. Love the logos, ladies.
She is cured by that, by the time.
And Judge, this is related to an adult case. I'm not going to address that on the record. So I do know about some other details that Mr. Meadows may be touching on because that individual is also in the jail. But we would stress that this was posted on social media, which is a concern for the state because of the allegation in the complaint affidavit.
It's always a woman involved. I mean, not always, but a lot of times. All right, bond is set at $15,000 with pretrial release conditions, no firearms in the home that he's residing in, and no contact with Bay County School Board or school board employees.
Monica! Thank you so much, and happy birthday. It's still going on. Thank you. Hope M is taking care of you, Monica. I know he is.
What's the court date?
That's
And I promise.
Step to your right to the
And
T.
Fambro,
When the green light come on,
I will
sir.
be emailing the jail after court because there is somebody that he should probably stay away from in the jail, but I can't do a no conduct.
He has
code
to
and it's-
anyway. It doesn't matter. He's juvie. He has to.
Oh, thank you.
Juvie with guns.
Steve, you want to sign? Or?
Thank you, Judge.
Ronnie,
Hold on. Just gonna get your copy.
you?
Yes, sir.
Raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear from me, truthfully and accurately, with the conversation.
Okay, I got a Webster gem for you guys too. Let's do a little Judge Phyllis. Mark throwing out memberships. Thank you. All my day ones taking care of everybody. Thank you, Mark. Let's roll a little. Let's see. Let's get her going. Where is she? Webster.
Appears in person and pro se. This is not the first appearance. We had that on January 17th of 2023, but the defendant failed to appear. And then the defendant was arrested and came in on February 21st, 23 for his first appearance, at which time he waived attorney, said he was going to represent himself. So, Mr. Fultz, what are you doing on your driving while suspended charge?
I still haven't been able to get my driver's license because I don't have ID, Your Honor. And to get ID, I went down to the Social Security office in Wichita. I don't even have a vehicle, but I managed to get away to Wichita and sit down there all afternoon just to find out that I couldn't get even my Social Security card. They turned me on to a place in Wichita. Every second Wednesday of the month, they help people like me that don't have driver's license, and it's from the driver's license control. It comes down to the Salvation Army there in Wichita on Main Street, the downtown office, and they help you get your driver's license and stuff that way. So I'm shooting for that, but I still don't have a copy of my driver's license, and I have some tickets that your assistant made me aware of last time I was in here. Your Honor, the reason I missed my court date, I went over to the courthouse in the gymnasium and I sat there till 5:30 that day, and then my appointment was, I was supposed to be here. She told me at 1 o'clock to go in the records office in the water department or whatever.
He's so nice. And he's like, the gal in the water department over there. The gal. Who says, my grandfather said gal. Gal.
She, without looking me up or anything, she said, well, they have court today at such time, so I went back, because I thought it was supposed to be at 1, and they didn't show up. I didn't have to be there till 4 o'clock for that. I went back at 4 o'clock, and they said they didn't have any, I was in the wrong courtroom, I guess. That's what it turned out. And
Literally wearing the worst sweats he could possibly found to wear to court. He's not even zooming. He's actually in the courthouse.
Definitely were.
And so they came and arrested me, Your Honor. She told me to go back home and they'd be sending me a letter. I talked to that was the assistant to the judge over there, and that next day they came and arrested me, and I bonded out again for a second time. It cost me $750 the next time I bonded out.
All right, so do you have any charges in Eureka City Court or municipal court?
Yes, I had them in, where the gymnasium is. That's the only gym I've ever been to.
Well, that's where they have city court for the city of Eureka. But you are here before me today on district court charges alleging that you violated state laws.
Yeah, I was driving.
Okay, so you got your courts mixed up, and that's why you failed to appear here?
I didn't know there were 2 courtrooms. That's why I failed to appear, and
Okay.
it cost me another $750.
Your Honor, there's nothing we can do about that now. He's
Right.
already bonded out.
Right.
Can I go
Sir,
ahead and?
Sir, here, I don't doubt anything that you told us. Quite honestly, you seem like you're very earnest and that you're actually taking some steps. This is the first time I believe I've been in court with you on this matter. Sounds like you have a plan, and that's probably the appropriate plan, is getting those people to assist you. It does appear that you have 2 fairly old tickets, 15 and
Thank
16,
you, Grim. Day one.
that you need to contact the Sedgwick County District Court.
Where's
Would appear
Smooch?
to be the court that is causing you an issue,
Smoochy's in here, right?
and
What up,
take
Peach?
care of whatever you have pending with them. Could be as simple as a speeding
What up,
ticket,
Lucy?
and just a fine and some court costs need to be paid. I don't know, and I'm not asking you to tell me or acknowledge anything in that regard. Get those matters taken care of. Go to that meeting where they help people over there in Wichita with the DMV, and if you're wanting a continuance to try to work on that, I'll give you some extra time, because it appears that you are taking steps, and I do appreciate that. And
Officer.
I'm
So-
sorry, I couldn't quite hear you, sir.
You said thank you.
World
So
End.
what
Thank
the title
you.
was. This is Assistant County Attorney Paul E. Dean that you're talking to, Mr. Dean. Okay, so it sounds like if you probably ought to start, while you're waiting on that appointment, maybe call the court. Well, I'm gonna leave that alone. All right,
Yeah.
how much time do you think you'll need, Mr. Dean?
Your Honor, I've not had this case before. It sounds like Mr. Pulps has some impediments, having to arrange rides, etc., although public transportation is more readily available in Wichita. Excuse me. I guess at this point in time, I'm going to suggest, Mr. Pulps, I'll give you 60 days. If you really get after it, and because there's 2 matters and they're both right there where you live in Sedgwick County District Court, then you should be able to get this matter taken care of pretty quickly. And with that assistance going to that location that they assist people with there at driver control, I think you're on the right track, and I think you can get this done. But you need to stay with it and
Hope you feel better, Tink. Thank you.
just have it done by the next court. And if you have it done by the next court, then I'll offer you a reduced charge that won't cause a further suspension to your driver's license. But
How long of suspension would this cause to my license?
it wouldn't cause a suspension to your license, sir. That's what I'm telling you.
Helping
You
him
get your
out.
license reinstated, I'll amend it to no driver's license in possession, which will carry $100 fine, court cost, because I don't see actually any prior convictions except a 1998 conviction, which I'm not going to count against you because that's been long enough ago. And it wasn't for driving while suspended in any event. So if you get this taken care of, I'll amend it to a charge that won't cause a suspension, and you'll have this matter behind you.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay, sounds great.
By taken care of, you mean get his license reinstated?
Yes, get his license reinstated, and it sounds like he probably has about as good a plan as I've heard any pro se individual have that's come before this court in the last 10 years.
Very well. Missy, what do you have in about 60 days?
Oh, about June 23rd at 9.
June 23rd at 9. All right. Hopefully you'll come in here June 23rd and tell Mr. Dean that you have a valid license unless this is keeping you in the way of it. But in any event, you have to be back here June 23rd at 9 a.m., sir.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And you may
Gotta
go.
love it.
Well, wait, Mr. Dean may have some business for you.
Yes, sir. I can get it written out correctly here.
Okay. Little Amarillo. Oh, nope. No Amarillo. Hold on. Simpson? Nope. All right. All right. Let's get to the TPO boy. Okay. This one is going to be a doozy. Judge Edgerton, it went on and off 3 different times. I got it all. We are ready to go. This one is going to be great. It has everything. 1 second, and let's get it rolling. Give me 1 second, people. Okay. All right. Let's get it rolling.
What you took in as this played out.
Yeah, so I was in my room, and my room is right above the garage where my mom was at that night. And so I heard Jay come in because she slammed all the doors on the way to the garage, and I heard them yell, and my phone was having issues that night. So I was trying to fix my phone in my room, and they were arguing downstairs, and I heard all of it, just about where she was and what was going on with Ray J and everything. And she called my name. And so I knew at that point, it wasn't just a regular argument. She needed assistance or needed me to be there or whatever. And so she was like, go get Aaliyah. So I went into Aaliyah's room and I told her she was sleeping. And I told her that my mom was calling her and that they were having a fight basically. And she got up, she came in there with me, and she was asking me where did Ray J say that I was? And I was like, I really don't remember what he said. And I saw laundry on the way to going to Aaliyah's room. So I was like, did you go do laundry or something? She's like, exactly. That's exactly what I said. And it migrated from the garage to the dining room, living room area. And my mom was like, if you think I'm lying, just ask Ray J. And he was like, yeah, I was waiting on his grandmother to bring me McDonald's.
And who is that?
The minor child that she has custody of.
Okay, got it. Thank you. And how old are they?
I believe he's 8 or 9.
Okay, so elementary school age.
You're right.
Got it. Okay, carry on.
So it was really lighthearted. He just really wanted McDonald's that night. It was something simple. And because we went to go talk to him, and he confirmed that he just wanted McDonald's that night, we were just looking like, oh, so there's no need to continue arguing because it was understood that he was the kid that wanted McDonald's, basically. And it didn't go there. Shay was still mad about it. And my mom was just like, I'm not going to argue with you. And he just said he wanted McDonald's. So he left and she locked the room to her office that was broken by Antoinette that night. But that was right before then in March, or before then maybe. And she locked the door, and to be able to go into my room, I have to go through the office door that was broken. So I had to go around the house to the garage to get into the garage to go back into my room. And soon after that, we were just kind of like, that was unnecessary and unneeded. Me and my mom just kind of talked about it. And she was like, yeah, it's just very draining. And Aaliyah came in there. We talked about it with Aaliyah. And she was like, yeah, that was a lot. And Aaliyah was like, just anytime they fight, just don't call me in. I don't want to be in between that anymore. I'm over it. And from that night on, it was just very weird in the house. Like the energy was weird in the house. I did end up getting a text from Shay a few weeks later after that and apologizing for her actions and just saying that it shouldn't have been done in front of me and Aaliyah and the child, and that she just handle it personally without the kids being involved and not in front of the kids. Because even though we're 21 and over, she still didn't want to do it in front of us and have to hear everything that happened and see everything that happened.
So, and I'll break this down into separate pieces. First, I'm going to ask you what you saw, and then second, if there were other things you heard but didn't see. So what did you actually see Miss Sharanda Russell do?
When I came downstairs, I heard my mom, before I even went down there, I heard my mom say, "Did you just hit me?" And she said, yeah, I did. And she's like, "Are you serious?" And she's like, "Yeah." And my mom goes, "All right." And she's like, Shay was like, "So who you calling? Now you want to call people now?" And she was like, "Shay, just stop." And my mom was like, "Give me my phone back." And she was like, "No, because who you calling?" And that's when she told me to go get Aaliyah. And after that conversation, from me being upstairs and her yelling upstairs to me, I went to go get Aaliyah and I walked in and they were just arguing back and forth and walking around. My mom just tried to stay like away from her. And that's when my mom stormed off and went into the living room where Ray J was and he was eating McDonald's.
All right. All right, let me think if I think that covers the questions that I have. So I'll turn to Miss Antoinette Miller. And did you have any questions for this witness at this time?
No, I wasn't there for that altercation.
All right. And Miss Aaliyah Miller, did you have any questions for Miss Bennett?
Yes, when you say that you came in my room and woke me up, when you came.
Yeah, she did talk fast. I thought I sped this up, but this isn't sped up. That was her talking. He was like that Micro Machine guy back in the 80s. Yikes.
My room to wake me up. I don't remember her saying anybody swung on nobody, whatever. Long story short, the only question I have for her is when you came to get me from my room and telling me that they arguing and stuff, where was JJ? JJ was not present. The child was not present. He was not present. We made JJ go to
hang
bed.
on. See, we're back in statement land. So let's turn this around. Where was the minor child when you went to talk to Miss Aaliyah Miller?
At the dinner table.
And approximately what time do you think this was?
At 11. It was late at night.
Okay. So that's her answer. Miss Miller, do you have any follow-up questions?
No, that's it.
Okay, thank you. All right, Miss Sharanda Russell, did you have any questions for Miss Bennett?
I do not.
All right, thank you. All right, hang on just one moment. All right. And Ms. Bennett, has there been anything since this incident in mid-March that you've witnessed in terms of violence, threats of violence, property damage, et cetera?
Other than the door incident, yeah, I was there for that as well.
Okay, what did you see during the incident with door?
I was in my room again, and then I came downstairs. I heard that they were arguing, and there was multiple people arguing. And when I came downstairs, they were just all in my mother's office yelling at her, what to do. And that's how she ended up coming out that day to talk to Shay, because she just wanted to feel like there should be a conversation and that would end everything. And so I just waited for her to come. And while my mom was going back and forth between the office and out there, that's when her and Antoinette got.
All right, Ms. Bennett, and I think you had somebody who was logged in as a witness for you, is that correct?
I do, and that was for the TPO that Antoinette had against me.
Okay, and we'll hold their testimony since I haven't heard from Mr. Paper soon. So I think where we're going to turn next.
Your Honor,
Ms. Russell, yes.
I do have a question for Ms. Bennett.
Okay.
Did you see or hear Sharanda shooting the gun that night that the incident happened in March?
I did.
And from where do you think you heard gunshots from?
It was from the front porch, and I was standing right by my mother's office in the window where you can see the front porch.
Okay, were you able to see firing?
I saw the shadow of it because my back was facing it, but I did see her figure in the light.
Okay,
when
so
it
you knew
was,
she was on the porch and the sound was coming from the porch.
yes, because she was also yelling from the porch as well.
Okay, do you know about how many shots you heard?
I heard 3.
Okay. All right, anything else for Miss Bennett, Miss Russell?
No, but there is another witness in the waiting room that Sharanda had a conversation with about the shooting.
Okay, do you have a name or some guidance on what to look for?
It's a man. His name is Jordan. It's my son.
Okay, that I can work with. All right. Unfortunately, all we see is the device ID until we bring them in the room, and we do have a few others in the waiting room, so. All right, Mr. Russell, if you're able to, oh. I think now you'll be able to hear me, Mr. Russell, is that correct?
Yes, I can hear you.
Very good. Can I have you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you swear any statements you make to the court today will be the truth under penalty of perjury?
That's correct. She reached out to me on an unrelated matter because my son and her grandson play games. And she didn't have my son's number to his phone and reached out. I was unaware that my son and her grandson wasn't talking. And then that's when she called me to kind of fill me in on everything that has been going on with her and my mother, Tina Russell, and what happened and all of those different things. And she informed me of the entire situation and what caused their relationship to kind of break down. And then a few weeks or maybe a week or two after that call, I received a text and call from my sister, Jalen, showing me the cuts on my mom's body from the glass breaking after the first incident. And then those were the 2 conversations that I've had in regards to the violence that has taken place. One from Sharanda and one from Jalen.
All right, so I want to focus in on the conversation that you had with Miss Sharanda Russell. What statements did she make to you?
She basically informed me how her and my mom were getting a divorce and like she was over it. And the incident that they had one night to where she received a call from Ray J, because he was up and he was hungry. And apparently my mom told Ray J to call her to get some food. And Sharanda basically said, you know, it set her off. She was mad because she doesn't play about the kids. And it's like any other time, like it's always been, you know, the kids need to go to bed at this time. They need to be here having type of structure. So she felt that my mom purposely left him hungry or him up at night to wait for her intentionally. And so when she came home, they got into an argument. She acknowledged that she put my hands on my mother. She said, I did hit her. I was wrong for that. She began to give me history of, you know, things that have happened in the past. It wasn't the first time she's hit her. And like basically she was like, you know, you're supposed to love me, but you should know what my triggers are, what sets me off. And it's like she just constantly does things that set her off. And she basically, you know, she was apologetic and told me that, you know, she shouldn't have put her hands on her, shouldn't have got that far. And that, you know, at this point she has to make, you know, decisions that's in the best interest of her. And, you know, she's tired of not putting herself first and things like that. She admitted to shooting the gun after she was upset with the whole situation. She got the gun and went outside to let off steam. She said that, you know, that's how she copes with things. She goes to therapy, like that's therapy for her, not go to therapy, but that's therapeutic for her. She goes out, go to the range, like she just likes to shoot. So she did say that she went outside shooting the gun. And from there, she was just basically telling me how she just needed to, you know, do what was best for her. And she was just tired. And, you know, she talked about things with her son and the baby and just different instances. She was giving me examples of how their relationship kind of broke down and things that my mom may have done that, you know, she didn't feel set right with her.
All right. Ms. Bertina Russell, any questions for Mr. Jordan Russell about his testimony that we have not covered yet?
No.
All right. Ms. Antoinette Miller, any questions for this witness? I know this didn't really pertain to your part of the case.
It don't, but no, I don't have any questions.
All right. I'm going to try to ask every time, anyway, just in case there's something I don't know that I don't know yet. So thank you. And Ms. Bennett, any questions for this witness?
No.
All right. Ms. Aaliyah Miller, any questions for this witness?
No, sir, I don't have any questions.
All right. Ms. Sharanda Russell, any questions for this witness? All right, I see you shaking your head no. Thank you, Mr. Russell. You have concluded your business with the court for today, so we're going to place you back in the waiting room, but you're free to log off and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next.
All right. Ms. Bertina Russell, anything else?
No, Your Honor.
All right. let's see, I believe next, that will take us to figure out how to break these down in the most logical order. All right. So I will hear from Miss Antoinette. No. Yes, I will hear from Miss Antoinette Miller, and then Miss Sharanda Russell, Miss Aaliyah Miller, and then each of those three, if any of you have any witnesses at that point, and then I'll hear from Miss Bennett's witness after we go through that. So Miss Miller, can I have you raise your right hand for me, please?
Mhm.
Do you swear, or actually I already swore the
Oh, am
parties,
I saying?
so you're all good. Sometimes we
Okay.
do it twice.
Thank you, Heather. Much appreciated. The stars of the show are the one who's speaking and the one with the Kentucky jersey on. Stay tuned. Thank you so much for the dono, Heather.
All right. So you are under oath, and this will be your opportunity to give your testimony about any or all of the matters that we've heard discussed today. If you have witnesses you intend to call after your question by the other parties, you'll have the opportunity to call those witnesses and have them testify as well. So what would you like to tell us today?
I do want to, read out a statement I wrote, if you don't mind.
Well, we just need to have you kind of testify. So it's good that you've written it down. That'll help you kind of
Summarize.
and have your notes, but we can't have people read statements, unfortunately. So, but you can go ahead and tell us what you remember and what you experienced.
Basically, I remember Pratina attacked me. I wasn't like barricading her way to go nowhere. I was going upstairs because my nephew was upstairs and he was actually asleep upstairs, the 9-year-old that everybody been referring to. So he was asleep upstairs and she's just downstairs yelling, get out, get out, get out and everything. So I'm walking through the door frame with my dog in my hand. So I don't know how can I block somebody, but she grabbed me by my neck and choke slammed me to the ground in front of the police. That's actually why she got arrested. Leaving after that, my apologies. I didn't break the door. I was trying to diffuse a situation because everybody was just going crazy, yelling. So I closed the door. She comes back and pushes her shoulder up against the door, like going, keep on doing this. So she kept on doing that. Her shoulder actually broke that door. I didn't break that door. Yeah, they were just holding the door together. That caused the glass to collapse. And I got like cuts and bruises on my body from her even body slamming me to the cuts from the door. I submitted that for the courts. I never attacked her or Jalen in any way or wasn't being belligerent. She is very aggressive towards me and my family since this divorce was filed. Me and my dog and my boyfriend moved back to the house 3 to 4 months ago, but my boyfriend wasn't really there as much as I.
Thank you, Shano. Jersey in the house.
I would be there more than he would be there. And my car wouldn't even be there. So it would just be me and sometimes me and my dog. So yeah, Miss Russell didn't like that. It caused her to verbally threaten me and my boyfriend and my dog. And she called the police to fabricate stories saying that I was coming over in the middle of the night, kicking doors and trying to break the new door she installed. That was a lie. She really just choke slammed me. That's really why I'm trying to seek this order against her, to be honest.
So for this, I guess the easiest way for me to ask this is in 2023, what are the time periods that you were residing at the home on Portillo?
February, like late February, until just recently when I had to get out.
Okay. And so at the point that you came in, was it already your understanding that I guess a divorce was in the works?
Yeah, I understood that they were going through stuff, but Pertina was already on one side of the house and my mother was too. And even at times, Pertina would be gone for like weeks on that time.
Excuse me. Judge is sleeping. Get Judge E. We get it.
Yeah, and I haven't been back to that property since our last court date. And when I went back and stuff, nobody was there. But Pertina did physically damage my school laptop. That's broken. Me and my boyfriend seen her damage that. My
And
doorbell.
when about that? Are you saying that happened?
That happened on the 11th of May.
Okay, so you were both there on the 11th.
Yes,
Okay.
because she showed up. I was there that morning and I had left, to go like do a few errands and stuff and come back. But I had my camera set up, the doorbell camera. It was a camera in the office. I had a tablet that displayed the camera as well. All three of those are gone. I don't know where they are. It's just she just taking stuff down, and you can see on video of her taking my camera down and putting it in her pocket, and you could just hear it just still going on, shuffling around in her pocket and stuff. I'm just like, this is just crazy. So I can't even do my schoolwork or anything because my laptop is damaged because of her as well. So it's just a lot.
What was actually done to cause the damage?
You said what, sir?
What was actually done to cause the damage? Like in what way was it damaged?
I believe it was thrown physically to the ground, like she just slammed it to the ground, like just.
Okay, and where were you when it happened?
I was standing on the outside of the door,
Okay.
like in the door frame.
Completely innocent. She did nothing. Nothing.
All right. So we're gonna kind of go in turn here. Miss Bennett, do you have any questions that you wish to ask Miss Miller right now?
Oh.
No, I do not.
All right. Miss Aaliyah Miller, any questions for Miss Antoinette Miller?
No, sir.
Miss Sharanda Russell, any questions for Miss Antoinette Miller?
No, I do not.
Thank you. All right, Miss Pertina Russell, do you have questions for this witness?
I do, Your Honor.
Oh,
All
boy.
Right. You say you moved back to the property in February? When in February did you move back to the property?
It's about the end of February going on to the next month. I'll be in and out. I didn't physically move all of my belongings in. I'm there moving in. I moved in about the end of February.
And where were you sleeping?
I would sleep on your living room couch or in Aaliyah's room, or sometimes with JJ.
Your Honor, I have proof to show that she was not living there. I can show that. But and another question, you said that you have video footage of me damaging your property?
I have video damage of you taking my video, my doorbell cameras and everything, and me and my boyfriend physically seeing you damage my laptop.
And we were in the home together on May 11th when that took place?
Yep, that's when you locked me out. That's how I got this cut on my hand and everything.
What up, daylight?
When the police was here?
The police wasn't there. They actually left the house.
Your Honor, we were never in the same household.
This is your
Yeah.
chance to question her.
Right,
So
right.
as I explained
appreciate it.
earlier, often people don't get the answer they want or believe is
True.
correct. But for
Thank you,
now,
Sheena.
it's the answer and we move on. Do you
Did
have any
you
questions?
Yes, did you install the camera without permission onto my home?
No, I did not install it without permission onto your home. I
So
installed it.
how did the doorbell camera get there?
My mother gave me permission to install the cameras.
Did you cut the camera wires that were already installed?
I didn't touch your doorbell camera. Your doorbell camera was already ripped out the wall before I even put that camera up.
Here we go.
That's all the questions, Your Honor.
All right, Miss Miller, did you have any other, you said you had a witness in the other room who you intended to testify, correct?
Yes, I did. He's in the other room.
All right, we can, you can bring them in and,
Oh God.
we may have you, if you rotate your phone 90 degrees, does it flip your camera?
Okay,
Not
hold on
for how you
one
teach.
second.
Like,
Oh, I'm in
instead of this, just give it that.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant my room.
Because
Oh,
I was
like
just
this.
gonna, yeah, so there you go. I think that changed it. So you can.
I think it's
Now
rotated.
you're standing on the wall. So I was gonna see if sometimes
Hey,
it's just a little
one-
easier to fit the two of you in frame together if it goes that way. Because I don't necessarily need for you to be I definitely don't
Yeah.
want you out of the room, and I don't necessarily need you to be off camera. So to the extent the two of you can kind of sidle up next to each other, maybe that works.
Okay.
All right. Good almost afternoon to you, sir. Can I have you raise your right hand for me?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you swear any statements you make will be the truth under penalty of perjury?
Yes, Your Honor.
State your name for the record, please, and you can put your hand down if you like.
Yes, sir. My name is Dickinson Guillaume.
All right. Can you spell your first name for me?
Yes, it's spelled N as in Nancy, I as in India, C as in Carter, K as in everlasting. I mean K as in Kate. I'm sorry. E as in everlasting, N as in Nancy, S as in Sarah, O as in octopus, and N as in Nancy. That's my first name. My last name is spelled G as in golf, U as in universe, I as in India, L as in Lima, A as in apple, and U as in universe, M as in Matt, and E as in everlasting.
Got it. Thank you for that. All right.
Yes,
Have you?
I don't know why that was so funny. It was just Lima, everlasting. Could you pick better words? That's what you use? The cross on his head? I don't know. He's not Judge E's cup of tea. I'll tell you that much.
Witnessed, so we're here today considering a number of protective order petitions. Have you witnessed, and that means either seen or overheard parts of any incidents where there has been violence, threats of violence, or property damage involving any of these parties?
Yes, sir, on several occasions.
Okay, well, tell me what you've observed most recently.
Well, most recently was on the day of, I don't know if I should start on when Miss Bettina Russell, choke slam Miss Antoinette Miller, or it's been several instances, but on the night where they came with the temporary order for Miss Sharenda Russell, I was asleep in the office room that when we move into the residence that we all agreed would be, outside of the house. While I was asleep, I heard, commotions coming from the living room area. I heard Miss Bettina Russell talking to my miniature poodle, saying to him, get out of my house. So that prompted me to get up and go see what's going on. So, as I make my way into the living room and she notices me, I'm sorry for my language, Your Honor. I'm going to quote exactly what she said.
You swore to tell the truth, sir, so I'm going to need you to say it exactly as it was.
Yes, it's just, very strong language. And she say, oh yeah, you nigga, get out of my house. You too, nigga, get out of my house. At that point, I just step aside, because I know she was mad and I saw the DeKalb police officer was at the doorway. So I just stepped off to the side and Miss Antoinette Miller came and picked up our puppy. And from then she went to try to proceed to go up the stairs.
Wait, did he call the puppy the N-word? Is she yelling at the puppy or talking? Because didn't he say she was talking to my puppy? She called him the N-word? How dare you? What color was the puppy though?
Where their nephew, JJ was asleep. That's when I witnessed, out of nowhere, Miss Bettina Russell rushed, over there and grabbed her by her neck area And from then on, and proceed to slam her in the ground real violently, in front of the officers that was there. And then from then she proceeded to got up and try to proceed up the steps, and then from there she was placed under arrest. On that day, that's what I witnessed. And after she went to jail, I don't know what happened, but she came back to the property on the day where me and Antoinette Miller was away. And, on the ring camera, you could see, at first you see the DeKalb police officer came at the door and rang the doorbell. She interacted with, Antoinette Miller, and, Antoinette Miller advised her that, she was on the way back there because at the time she was under the belief that, bond's conditions said that, Miss Pratina Russell was not supposed to be at the property. That was, her understanding. So she was trying to get back to the residence to speak to the officers. But, for some reason, the officers just left. And from there, I seen, on the ring camera, I observed video of,
The chat is unbelievable. I couldn't get a better 10K gift than reading this right now. I was laughing when I is for idiot. Was that F is for fabrication? What up, K4?
Miss Pratina Russell taking the camera off and saying, yeah, they put that camera there, and took the camera off, and it sounded like she was destroying it and putting it in her pocket. And from there, the video stopped, and we got to the residence. When we got to the residence, she was very aggressive towards us when, Antoinette Miller tried to make interest back into the residence. She was like, I would advise y'all not to do that, as if threatened she had a gun or some type of a weapon she had planned on using. She kept saying that I would advise y'all not to do that. So Miss Antoinette Miller went to the back way of the office of, the part of the area of the house that we agreed would be our area. She tried to go over there. Miss Russell, Pratina Russell, ran into that area, and, she had her camera phone pointing at us and grabbing the door, keeping Miss Antoinette Miller from, making interest into the residence. And I observed, Miss Antoinette Miller sustained an injury from, tussling with the door with Miss Pratina Russell. And from there, I seen her, went on to, like she tossing several items of ours around in the house. And one of those items that I seen her, toss was, Miss Antoinette Miller.
Thank you, Daylight. My man. Very, very good asset to the community, Daylight. Fantastic.
Who provided laptop, from there. And, it was just a bunch of things. And she called several people to the residence. They came and they was threatened, making threats against us. And, one of them was a guy, and I think his name was, she referred to him as Avery. He even went as far as to told Antoinette Miller, oh, if you don't stop doing all this police shit, I will light your ass up. Ooh. And, Miss Pratina Russell was encouraging all of these behaviors. She was not trying to stop her parties from doing these things. I observed those guys throwing away groceries, that we bought and provided in the house. It's just a lot of things happening, y'all, at that residence.
All right. And so what's your connection to Miss Antoinette Miller?
That's my girlfriend.
Okay. And you never resided at the house. You have your own residence, correct?
I resided with Miss Antoinette Miller because, before, we had lived in Macon. She had lived, at the residence in question, but she had moved with me to Macon. But since the divorce proceeding had started, it was a lot of things, around the house that, her family needed help with, and she came to try to help to cover those. And I was there with her, but, as mentioned, I would, be working a lot. So it would be very, little time I would be at the residence.
So what happened to the place that you two shared in Macon?
We, decided that we was going to relocate to Atlanta to move back.
Christina.
So did the lease run out?
Yeah, we just let the lease go, and we decided to relocate back to Atlanta. And, in the midst, that Miss Sharenda Russell, she was going through a lot, and, she also had the nephew, the minor in question that needed, another adult to, help him, be supervised and, get through the things that he can't do himself. So that's where we came into play at.
So where have you been staying, let's say for the last week? Where are y'all?
Yeah, we've been staying in hotels, Your Honor.
Okay. So, and when did your lease run out in Macon?
It ran out, I think we had it up until, it ran out, was it like February?
What month?
Like it was early.
Close in time to when you started mostly being here.
Mostly being in the residence in question.
Right. So you
was
came
like
to Atlanta close in time to when your lease was running out anyway.
Right, like in mid-February, we
Is that in between January and February? February.
Came down here. I can't, recall the specific date. It was like mid-February.
The Miss Antoinette Miller.
That's my girlfriend.
Okay, and
right.
you never.
Okay. I'm not sure if my next question is going to be okay, Your Honor, but I
think that's all the questions I have.
Okay, so now we're jumping to, now he's going to get questioned by the other ones that were tussling.
For this witness, and everybody's screens have been jumbled around on me. Miss Jalen Bennett, do you have any questions for this witness?
I do.
All right, what is that?
Is there a lease that you signed to move back in? And was there anybody specific who gave you permission to move into the home?
Yes, Miss Sharenda Russell, as I mentioned.
Okay. And also, you stated that you moved in February, correct?
Yes, mid to ending of that month.
Okay. I'm not sure if my next question is going to be okay, Your Honor, but
take a swing.
I'm not sure what the was. Okay.
We'll find out.
I know reading my TPO papers that there is Macon on the TPO when it was submitted to me.
You guys aren't, so that you like.
If that's not paper, let me ask this. Is this paperwork that this gentleman filled out?
No.
I don't. Okay, then he's not the right one to ask. So we can move past that. Did you have other questions?
No, those are my only questions.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Bennett. Ms. Sharanda Russell, just because I see you next, do you have any questions for this witness?
No.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Russell. And Miss Aaliyah Miller, did you have any questions for this witness?
No, sir.
All right. Miss Bertina Russell, did you have any questions for this witness?
I do.
All right.
You stated that Antoinette obtained a cut or something from tussling with the door with me. What door would that be?
As I mentioned, it was the office door, the back office door.
Was the screen door locked?
No, it wasn't. You pulled it. As she was trying to pull to gain access, you pulled it, and she sustained the cut as you pulled and closed and locked that door.
He wasn't talking about.
Your Honor, I can get another witness to come that was actually present that can prove this is a lie.
Court cases have conflicts between testimony. You can't get another witness. You ask a question, you get an answer. We move on. You've given testimony that contradicted his. He will give testimony at times that contradicts yours, and at times will align with yours.
Understood.
All right. What other questions?
I do have another question.
All right.
How could you have seen what was going on inside the home if the blinds were closed?
The blind was not closed because in that area, the blind was clearly open and we could see directly inside that office room. And that's why I seen you damaging the properties. And that's why I seen you tossing her school laptops and so forth.
So you were outside looking through the open blinds into the home as your testimony?
Yes, sir. As I was like, as that's at the point where she was trying to gain entry back into, the office area that, is the office areas in the room, the master room, so that's the area that, Ms. Sharenda Russell had, instructed us to be at. So it was in that area where, she was trying to keep us from gaining entry, and I seen her causing the damages to the properties. Yes, that's my testimony, Your Honor.
Your Honor,
Right.
I've submitted evidence that proves this testimony false. There is video and pictures of both of them.
Ms. Russell, I think when you lean in like that is when your audio cuts out.
Sorry.
I don't know what that would be, but that's the second time that I've caught it, and that's been the common link both times. And both times,
Okay,
as
let
soon as
me
you went
sit
back in
back.
the chair, it came back perfect.
Okay, I was stating that I've submitted evidence that contradicts this witness's testimony. There are videos and pictures both showing them pulling on the locked screen door, as well as videos and pictures showing you that all blinds in the home was closed. So his testimony is false, and there's evidence that was submitted to the court to prove that.
Your Honor.
We can review that if we need to, but I think for now, that's all the questions that we have for this witness. That'll be part of rebuttal testimony if I require it at the end of the hearing. Sir, I think that out of the other four parties on the case, and I guess Ms. Miller, I didn't specifically ask you if you had any questions for him. Did you, Ms. Antoinette Miller?
No, that was everything. He
Okay.
stated.
So, having checked with all parties, sir, I think that concludes your testimony and cross-examination from everybody. And so I guess you're sharing the device. You don't need to log off, but you're free to go wherever else you'd like to go with the rest of your day.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.
All right.
Main event. Here she comes.
Let me take
Oh,
a
boy.
brief pause to try and check on a couple of loose ends here. It's possible that we will be taking our lunch break fairly soon. I'm
Not
going to try
here.
to get some guidance on that, and then I'll come back probably in about 5 minutes.
Okay, here we go. Main event time.
Yes, we did have our first, did obtain an apartment. I moved out of the home. We were in talks around the beginning of February, where we did reconcile. I moved back into the home, giving Aaliyah Miller my apartment. Jalen Bennett.
Are we liking the Judge E? He's not leaned back in his office chair anymore. Where is he now? Look at him. A little studious right now. Enjoy this, guys. This is great.
Was not in the home. She was in London. The only ones that were in the home was Jeray Smith, the 9-year-old, myself, and Bertina Russell during the 2001 incident where we, like I said, got into our first altercation. We got together in 2014 where we started our relationship. We moved in with each other. Well, I moved into her home in Gwinnett in 2015 with all of my children. We got back together February 2021. We went on a trip to Vegas. We, like I said, I moved back into the home. We were reconciling. In that period of time, I was in therapy. We discussed couples therapy. We did not go forward with that. We started it, but we did not agree on the therapist. So we did not stick with couples therapy, but I was in individual therapy. In my therapy time, I was advised on different ways that we can talk to each other, and I was even advised to record. So for the past 2 years, I have been recording Bertina Russell and I's arguments for record. We have had several arguments in between that time, but in this particular time this year, it led up on February 27th, we had an argument about our home. Both of us are on the home, on the deed to that house. Bertina wanted us to pick up and move to Florida to rent a home and turn our home into a rooming home. It was a disagreement. It went wrong. On March the 5th, she made accusations on me stating that I was cheating with a male. March the 14th, Jeray goes to bed at 9 o'clock. He was fed and I went to the laundromat. At 11 o'clock, Jeray is calling me, asking me where I was. I hung up with him and I called Pertina, asking her, why isn't Ray J in bed? We both exchanged words over that phone call. I got home. I put Ray J to bed. I proceeded to the game room where me and Pertina argued. We argued, it got rough. We shoved. I hit her. After that, Jalen and Aaliyah came into it. Aaliyah pushed me out. I went out of the house. I then went to my car and I proceeded to shoot the gun in the air. I shot one shot. I was not on the porch. I was in our yard. We have 5 acres of land, and it's always been Pertina's words. We have 5 acres of land. We can do what we want. This is how we all shoot the gun. All of us. It's no secret. We all shoot the gun around that house. The gun is no longer in the house and has not been in the house since that night of our argument. From there on, a week after, Pertina did leave the house that night. After that, a week later, I contacted Pertina and she was not happy that I contacted her a week afterwards instead of the day afterwards to apologize. During that conversation, I advised her that she needs to get a lawyer because I was filing for a divorce. Mid-March, the 24th, I sent Pertina a message in regards to the phone bill. She never responded to the message. I had been sending Pertina different messages on different things that had been going on in our household with our household bills. Nothing is adding up. Nothing makes sense. And my exact words to her is, I don't understand how you can go get your body redone and our bills is falling behind. She got mad over that, but it was just my smart statement to it. On the 15th of March, I believe, I also was going over more bills as far as the Georgia Power, everything that was past due, basically. Pertina knew about it. March the 17th is when my lawyers and everything, they finalized the paperwork. Moving forward to the divorce, I signed off on the petition and everything, and it was filed with the clerk of courts. April the 4th, Ray J gets out of school between 2:15 and 2:30. She locked the baby out that day to where I had to leave work and I had to go and get him. I made arrangements because Antoinette and Nick, her boyfriend, they are out during the day working. I made arrangements and a deal with Antoinette I will make sure I will cover their storage fees if she can sit during the day at home. She can pick up night shift or whatever. We arranged it. Antoinette had been living at the house, but she has not been there consistently every day. Her and her boyfriend to go get hotels or whatever. Antoinette's school stuff was delivered to the house and everything. So she had been at the address since February, the end of February. And I also submitted pictures of Antoinette washing dishes at the house while Pertina was sitting on the countertop as well. That was the April 4th incident with Ray J being locked out, and why we started taking measurements to make sure that somebody is at the house to get him, because it's like she fell back from doing us when it was the usual duties. Since he started school, she's the one that works from home. She usually gets him out. But when he rung the doorbell and I was talking to him and through the doorbell, she had not answered the door for him. On March the 16th, I asked again about the phones. The bill was $500. It was her phone on there, her daughter's, and the business phone on my account. I had been asking about the money since February. She has not given me money on the phone bills since February. She also has not been paying the note on her truck business where she put it in deferment for 2 months. She had not paid the bill on that. So bills were falling behind way before a TPO order came in existence. So I did have AT&T suspend the phone services on April 16th. On April 16th, on April 22nd, it was an incident where I contacted Pratina in regards to our dog, Queen. I seen on the camera that she was outside. It was my fault.
Is the dog Queen the N-word? Is Queen the N-word? I can't keep up. What's going on? And I watched this already.
That I did not check the door behind me, that it flew open and she was outside. I contacted Pratina, and of course it was some ugly words because she thought that I did it deliberately and all this kind of stuff, where it was not done deliberately. It was a mistake. I did not check behind myself. Queen was out. Queen did not hurt anybody or nothing. She was on our front porch. We were watching her on the camera, even though neither parties could get back to the house to let her in. Later on that afternoon, when we got home.
No, she's not Axl Rose. I thought that was Cam Newton. If for people who don't know, it's worth a Google. Google Cam Newton, Carolina Panthers. I swear I thought it was Cam Newton. That's why I started recording this one.
This time, let me back up. After the altercation on February the 14th, we have been living on separate sides of the house, but Pratina has not. The whole this year, since her body surgery, she has not been on our bed, up in our bedroom at all. She's been in her office on her futon mattress where she got her body pillow laid out because of her surgery wounds or whatever, and I'm a wild sleeper. She had not been up in our room. The surgery was 2 days before Christmas. We were down in Miami. We got back the beginning of January. She has not been in our bedroom or on that side of the house the whole 2023. So for her to be on that side of the house was nothing new after our altercation. She just locked the door now. So after
KO, stop.
It was after we got home, the same evening that the dog was out.
Can we Google wild sleeper? What exactly is a wild sleeper? Anyone?
We came in with groceries and everything else. Pratina came out of the office, out of her office, and she unplugs the TV. There's the video that was submitted. She unplugs the TV and says, "Y'all not using my electricity. It said my name." We told her to go on with that. We all was sharing words with her. Everybody was loud because at that time we already knew hostility. That's all it's ever been when she's confronting the situation is loudness or is tugging and pulling at stuff, taking stuff away. It's mine, it's mine.
Hostility.
So during that time, Pratina said some words. She went back into her office. Antoinette came behind her and tried to close the door. Pratina came back up trying to open back up the door. Antoinette was still on the door. She had her foot at the bottom of the door, holding the door closed, and Pratina was pushing the door out. So the top of the door was flip-flapping back and forth to eventually Pratina stepped on the step that's inside her office. The wrong turn, she fell through the glass. The police was called that day. Diffused the issue. Antoinette was asked to leave the house for 24.
Pratina, stop flip-flapping the goddamn door. You're letting Queen out. That little
hours. The next day, around 1 o'clock, Pratina was served with the divorce papers. After after she was served, Pratina came back to the common area of the house where I was cooking, and Aaliyah was sitting on the kitchen counter. She proceeded to sweep the glass that was out from the day before. She started sweeping the glass up in the air. I called the police on that day. The police advised us that if they come back out, that somebody was going to go to jail because they know where this is going, type of situation. She also had informed the police that she was going to report my car stolen because my car is in her name. The police advised her not to do that day. That Monday, on the 24th, around 10:30, I get a phone call with Leah and a police officer. Pratina had called the police again, but I was at work. No one was home but Aaliyah. She was stating that someone was kicking at her door and all this kind of stuff. The police officer said that she didn't see any foul play, any evidence, so she was not writing up a report for that day. On the 23rd, April the 23rd, the day that she got served the divorce papers, she also had a kickback party to where she knew that it was a minor child. We do not have our kickbacks while a minor child is in the household. She did. She had naked women all in our jacuzzi and everything while the child was there. I asked her beforehand not to do this, but I already knew where it was going. So I have been making plans because I was the one that filed for divorce. I knew naturally I was going to be moving out of the home. But on the 24th, before I had went to work, Pratina was down in the common area with her daughter, conjuring up. I had already heard that they were going to put a TPO on me. And she was stating that she was going to tell the courts that I fired multiple shots in the air and all this kind of stuff. Hence the reason why I just went on and got rid of the gun out of the house that I am registered to, that is mine, but it's not in the household. She also stated how she was going to put a claim on my car, stating that I ran my car into her trucks that has been sitting in the yard for almost a year now. She was going to file a claim on me, stating that I hit the cars, which is recorded as well. And so I already knew where it was going with the TPO. I was on the 25th of April, after she had came and filed for the TPO on the 24th, she removed me from the insurance policy on the car. On the 27th, I was served the TPO around 10:30 that night. As I was giving directions to the girls on, what to do with Ray J and everything else, Antoinette came out of my office area because the way the house is set up, they were on the west wing of the house and we were on the east wing of the house. It's literally, we had our own living spaces really. Antoinette came out of my office, and before we all knew it, Tina showed that she was the aggressor to the police, which they said that they knew that she was going to pull something. She choked Antoinette up and slammed her to the ground. The cop did mention that he had it on his body cam, that he knew that she was going to do something. So, I'm sorry. I need to take a sip.
So many jokes. I'm just going to shut up.
From April the 28th to May 1st, I have been locked out of Georgia Power, where Patina Russell put a PIN number on the account, so I couldn't even call in to pay a bill. She changed all the passwords to the water company, to everywhere. The only thing that remained on that was recently turned off as of last Friday was the internet and cable. And the internet and cable is gone because I can show where on May 11th, when Pratina was let back into the home, she disconnected the Wi-Fi service box and the cable box, which is now gone, that I had to report stolen on my account because it's not in the home. She has had the registration canceled on my car. She has closed our joint account where all the bills are paid out of the joint account. I don't have a way to pay my car note for this month. I don't know where she's exactly going with this, but I was getting out of the home. All I need now is permission to go in the home and get my stuff. Where everything else stands is more of a divorce issue with our house and everything else. I'm not looking to get answers today on that. I just want my private property so I can remain out of the house and get away from this situation. Because at the end of the day, I fear more for my life and my kids' life in this situation that Pratina has put up on. This is so unnecessary. With the disrespect of having people in our house that's carrying guns and everything else, and for you to make an accusation off of me shooting the gun up, but that's nothing. You use something that we laugh about. Now you want to use it and against me as if it was something that is not. I don't have no hatred towards Pratina in this matter. I just want to be away from her. I want this situation settled because it's more hurting to see a 9-year-old going through a situation he's never experienced, seen violence, seen us argue or anything of the such. Everything has been in this 2-year span time building up, which led to me filing for divorce. I have took anger management classes since the incident on March the 14th. I took anger management courses. And I've also been in therapy since then as well. I restarted back up with a therapy session since our incident in 2021.
Who cares?
All right. I'm going to turn to a few of the other parties now.
Okay.
So Leah
Thank
Miller,
God.
the first one I see on my screen. I'll ask you first. Were there any questions you had for Ms. Russell?
No, sir.
All right, Ms. Bennett, did you have any questions for Ms. Russell?
Cam Newton up next.
All right, Ms. Antoinette Miller, did you have any questions for Ms. Russell?
No.
Thank you all. All right, Ms. Christina Russell, did you have any questions for this witness?
I do.
All right, go ahead.
Roll her eyes.
My first question is, you mentioned about utility bills. What was your deal with your husband for throughout the duration of your marriage? You are responsible for the utility bill?
Ms. Russell, this might be me because I'm on a new computer. I haven't been.
Let me lean this way. Is that better?
It is. That's crazy.
I gotta lean to the left, okay?
All right.
My first question was in reference to her statement as far as the utility bills. Was you solely responsible for utility bills and I responsible for the mortgage payments and insurance, or were we to split the utility bills?
I was solely responsible for the utility bills as far as the Georgia Power and the water bill, the cable and internet, and I took care of my car note.
Okay, so then you advised me that you were behind in the utility bills had no bearing on me. Were you also, as far as the phones, were you and Aaliyah's phone not also on that family plan? The house, the people that lived in the household, me, you, Aaliyah, and Jalen, we all were part of one plan together, correct? It was not just me and Jalen's phone. Was it a family plan for all of the members of the household?
We have a family plan on my ID to where you were giving funds for you, Jayla, in the business phone. Aaliyah pays her $60 to me, and I cover my portion.
When we took a trip to Jamaica, was there not an agreement that you would be responsible for that phone bill in exchange for me paying for that trip to Jamaica?
And was the trip not paid for as of
That you
January
didn't
of
answer
this
my
year?
question. Was that a yes or no? I'm sorry.
No,
There was not an agreement that you were to pay for the phone
not
bill?
this year. No, it was not.
Oh, okay. So there was no agreement as far as the phone bill.
I'm here to decide whether to issue a protective order based on allegations of violence. So we're just going to move on from this line of questioning.
Okay. In reference to Florida, you said that there was no gun involved. You did not give the gun to my cousin, bring back in a car for you to fly when we were in Florida. Is that not the truth?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Is it true or not that a gun was involved in Florida and you gave the gun to a relative of mine to drive back to Atlanta in order for you to fly?
Sorry, I don't recall no gun being involved.
These women are hood, carrying guns. No women in my life pack heat. None. None. I just don't get it.
Okay. You're under perjury.
She
Russell, we don't.
just said she's committed perjury. You committed perjury. She just said.
Cousin, bring back in a car for you to fly when we were in Florida. Is that not the truth?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Is it true or not that a gun was involved in Florida and you gave the gun to a relative of mine to drive back to Atlanta in order for you to fly?
Sorry, I don't recall no gun being involved, huh?
Okay. You're under perjury.
What's under perjury?
Russell, we don't need any editorial comments. Just ask the questions. You understand that the answers you get are the answers you get.
Got it.
You're under
And so
perjury.
it is a contradictory because you said you advised your daughter in April. You made arrangements after Ray J was locked out of the home. But me working from home, it could have been that I was in a meeting at the time he rang the doorbell. Yes or no? There had never been any intention in the past of this child being locked out, right? And I'm just trying to clarify a time frame.
All right, let's slow down because you're moving on to question 3, and I have not heard answers to 1 or 2. So the first question is, do you know if Ms. Russell was on any kind of meeting or occupied with work from home at the time that the child was unable to enter?
I can't answer that. I don't know.
Don't know. Perfectly good answer. Okay.
And so is it, you invited your daughter and her ex-con boyfriend to live in a home without discussing that with your wife? Is that normal procedure protocol when you're sharing a home?
I'm sorry, you had your cousin come stay with us. So that question I can't answer, Your Honor.
But was there a discussion handled? The question was there a discussion that you had with your spouse about inviting your daughter and her ex-con boyfriend to live in a household?
You was aware about Antoinette living in the household. Her boyfriend comes and goes.
When did you make, when did that conversation take place?
When we discussed Antoinette going back to school in February, we was giving her one last chance to make this right.
We never had that discussion. February, when did that discussion happen?
Valentine's Day, over dinner that you made.
We discussed Antoinette. Okay. But you hadn't filed for divorce until April, so why would you invite her back in February to help with Ray J? Because you stated your testimony was you had her come help with Ray J.
Antoinette needed somewhere to go when her lease expired. She told us her situation in February. I asked Antoinette to change her work schedule after you locked Ray J out in April. Antoinette was already in the home. And like I said, I have pictures and everything submitted for that to collaborate that.
I hope they're dated. Did you not text me advising me that you were in a hit and run in the vehicle? And I advised you to contact the police and the insurance company and you failed to do so?
The car was allegedly hit and while I was at work, but it was not my RAV4 that they called on the speakerphone. They thought it was mine because it was the same red RAV4 at Buckhead nursing home. And I can have my supervisor, they called me on the speaker, which I called you to let you know. But I also said that it was not my car that got hit that day later on in the statement.
Your Honor, that day I took pictures of the car and submitted that. That's all the questions that I have.
All right.
Oh, no, I do have one more question. I'm sorry.
Rick with the dono! Thank you, Rick. Thank you from day one, buddy. Love the support. Thank you so much.
Not text me advising me you would send your payments for your portion of the bill via Zelle?
We're not doing the bills. We're just going to move on. So,
Okay.
all right. So I'm checking my notes here. I believe that takes us next to Miss Aaliyah Miller. Is that correct, Miss Miller?
Yes, sir.
All right. You have been sworn in because I swore all the parties in, and I'm going to keep saying that to myself so that I remember that I've done it. What would you like to tell us today?
I would like to start my testimony at Valentine's Day. All the energy in the house shifted after Valentine's Day because Pratina was accusing my mom of sleeping with a man. She didn't have no kind of proof. All she had was conversations that they were having on Facebook. They do the same thing. I was in a room when they was arguing about her accusations of my mom sleeping with a man. I didn't agree with none of it because I know they married. Y'all both done stuff. Y'all both been through stuff. I'm not here for all that. After Valentine's Day, that's when I feel like everything shifted. Everything in the house changed. All the energy. I noticed she started staying more, to herself on her side of the house. After the plastic surgery, Pratina was already breaking away. She was already starting to act different. It was like we came back from Florida and it was completely different. Her and her daughter. I don't care about the plastic surgery. I don't have no issue with nobody getting plastic surgery. I'm a personal trainer. I don't have no issue with somebody doing something to their body. My whole thing was y'all came back from Florida acting like brand new people. Like we wasn't the ones down there helping change bandages and clean up after people. We was feeding them and everything. But when we came back to Georgia, nothing was the same. I asked my mom, why is Pratina not sleeping up here with you? Why is Pratina down there? What's going on? I noticed the changes in their relationship. I lived there full time. Pratina has definitely tried to just badger my mom with the cheating accusations because it's a male from her past. Whatever, I'm not here to talk about the past. She accusing my mom of sleeping with a man when my mom is not sleeping with no man. That's when everything just shifted. February became too much. Early March, I'm a college student. I had spring break. I was going to New York early March. Coming back home from spring break, I thought everything was going to be okay. I asked both of them, can y'all please talk to each other? Can y'all please work this out? This has hurt my feelings just as much as it has hurt them. We was a family. Anyways, after coming back home from spring break, everything was just shifted. Everything changed. Their communication didn't make any progress. Everything was just different. It was basically like we was just living in a loveless house. Like nobody had love for each other no more. And with everything happening, I guess I'm leaning on the situation, their argument and the shooting. the argument and the shooting night, I was asleep. I was woken up out my sleep. Jalen came in my room, waking me up. Aaliyah, they in there arguing, your mom and Blaze getting into it. So I hopped up and I went in the room where they were at. We're sitting in the game room. They're arguing and screaming back and forth. I did not have to remove my mom off of Pratina. I didn't have to get my mom off of her. She was never on top of her. None of that on top of her, beating her, none of that. I wasn't present for the slap. When I came into the game room, I grabbed my mom by her arm and I said, let's go. My mom yelled whatever she yelled to Pratina and we walked out. I came back in the game room. I asked, was everybody okay? I said, this is too much. And I went back to my room. I heard one gunshot. I did not hear 4 gunshots. I did not hear 3 gunshots. I heard one gunshot. After that, everything pretty much just became about JJ. It was more like all of us was a unit. Everybody was pitching in and helping out wherever they can. Everybody was playing a part some way, somehow to make sure JJ was structured. All of us know his bedtime is 9 o'clock. And the craziest part of it is Pratina is the main one who was stressed. Why is he still watching YouTube? Why is he still on the phone? It's 9 o'clock. Why isn't he in the bed? But I feel like because they had the whole cheating accusations and, you know, everything that they was already previously dealing with, she was being petty. Pratina didn't play her role. She didn't step in where she was, you know, needed. Everybody does for JJ every single day. But during the time of their arguments and the cheating accusations, she fell back from JJ. Moving on from March. All of this stuff in April. I'm contesting this TPO because everything that has been filed on my name is a lie. I've submitted evidence to prove everything that has been sent on my name is a lie. Everything she said I've done, I've submitted evidence and proof that it was not me who did it. The day that she's saying that glass door got broke, I was nowhere near the door when the door got broke. I didn't cause wounds to her body. That situation took place between her and Antoinette Miller. I had nothing to do with the glass door being broke. I submitted pictures and videos of where I was standing in the moment of that glass being shattered. And the only reason why the glass was shattered is because Antoinette and Pratina were holding the doorbell, like, you know, struggling back and forth with the doorbell, shaking and rattling, whatever. All I know is Pratina had her shoulder and she was like pushing her body into the door. And it was like, boom, boom, boom. On that third boom, she flew through that glass. But she's trying to say, I broke the glass door and I caused injuries to her arms and legs. The police was called. I submitted evidence. I was not the one who had to deal with the police on the day of the glass door being broke. They spoke with Antoinette. Antoinette is the one who had to leave. On April 23rd, she's saying that I picked up the shattered glass and threw it at her. I never picked up no shattered glass and threw it at nobody. Pratina was mad at me. We were having an entire argument because when I noticed that the living room couch was gone, my statement was, wow, you took the couch. She got mad and started screaming to the top of her lungs, I paid for it. I bought it. This is my couch. Because of how heated the argument was getting, Pratina took the broom and all the glass was in a pile right next to her office door. When Pratina took that broom and started flinging the glass at us, it was violent. She took the broom and just started flinging glass. My mom called the police because we was just hit with glass. They didn't do nothing. They asked, would anybody leave? And it was pretty much like nobody wanted to leave on the day of the whole glass or whatever, and her taking the couch from us. She said that on April 24th, she's saying that I was beating on the door. I was damaging her door. April 24th, absolutely nothing happened. I hadn't seen Pratina Russell until DeKalb County Police was called. I didn't see her at all the night before or the morning of. I didn't see her April 23rd at night, and I didn't see her April 24th in the morning time until the DeKalb County lady, the DeKalb County police officer approached me asking questions. How did the door get broke? I
Yep,
told her,
Smoochie.
ma'am, I did not do that. I didn't do that. That don't got nothing to do with me. After that, she told me that it was not going to be no report wrote in. Pratina just screaming, yelling, trying to intimidate me the whole time.
They're not roten reports. No roten reports. Bertina better not be roten reports. She said roten.
Talking to the police officer. After speaking with her, it was just more like just moving on. We were literally just trying to stay on our side of the house and leave them on their side of the house. And I think she was just wondering too much of what was going on our side of the house. Bertina has put lies on this TPO saying that I destroyed her greenhouse, keyed her car, I took her dog, cut her security system. She said that I tried to hack her online bank account. Your Honor, I have done none of these things. None of them, not one of them. I have proof to show you. I have done none of these things that has been said on my name. None of them. Majority of the situation is more like what was between her and Antoinette. She's trying to say happened between me and her. But I believe it was so she could just get me out of the house since my mom was already served with a TPO. I didn't do none of the things that she said I did. Like I said, I submitted evidence to show. I text her about her dog. I have text message receipts. I text her about Queen. I have been the one feeding Queen and taking her to use the bathroom. I have been taking care of Queen alongside my nephew. It's pretty much JJ's dog if we've been serious. I've helped out in ways where it's more like she used all this against me. I didn't cut no security system. We don't even have wires on our security system. It's a adapter that you plug in and plug out. Like, all of this stuff is lies. I didn't try to hack nobody's bank account, change nobody's email and passwords. All of this is lies. Everything on this TPO is a lie. And like I said, my evidence is there to back me up, showing I had nothing to do with the glass door situation. The 24th, absolutely nothing happened. She has been harassed. She harassed us for the first 5 days of this situation. She called the police every single day with absolutely no evidence of anything happening because nothing happened. Other than that glass door getting broke, nothing happened. And I really hate that we going through all this. And I ain't got no hatred to none of them. I looked up to Pratina. I respected her. I even submitted a prayer that I wrote back in January. I prayed for this woman that none of this would have ever happened. But it was just more like if you ain't seeing no changes, ain't nothing gonna change. I'm over it. Just coming back home, moving back home. I'm a full-time college student. She trying to destroy my reputation before I can even build it. I've done none of these things that this woman has said I've done to her. That's all I have to say.
All right, Miss Antoinette Miller, do you have any questions for this witness?
No.
All right, Miss Sharanda Russell, do you have any questions for this witness?
Leah, on the day that you were served the TPO, where was Queen at?
On the day that I was served the TPO, not Blaze. Queen was still walking around, roaming around with us.
Okay. Have you ever had access to Blaze and I joint bank account?
Blaze?
Never.
Have you ever paid any bills of ours?
I don't have access to none of those things.
That's all.
I would also like to add that Pratina Russell has caused damage to a lot of my property.
Let's just get this out of the way. This is the worst cross-examination ever. There hasn't been one good question on cross-examination. Not one. And who's Blaze? Haven't heard Blaze once.
Since I've been served with this TPO and made to leave home, she has destroyed my property. She threw away my groceries. I submitted the Kroger receipt for my groceries. I submitted the pictures of my property being destroyed. I didn't touch none of her stuff, but this TPO, she violated this TPO by touching my belongings. I didn't touch none of her stuff.
All right, let me turn to Miss Bennett. Miss Bennett, do you have any questions? I don't think there was any testimony here that really involved you, but
I'm good.
okay, thanks. All right, Miss Bertina Russell, do you have questions for this witness?
I do.
Oh boy.
So you said that you didn't have access to any. Who did you not assist your mother in moving my?
Oh my God. Fix your
I think
audio.
we'll need you to
I can't
go
hear
about a
nothing.
foot to the
Oh,
left.
let me move to the left.
Perfect.
Is that better? Okay. Did you not move my items from my bedroom?
Starting
Say
to
that one
lose
more.
you.
I can't hear
Miss
nothing.
Miller, are you having trouble hearing as well?
Yeah, I can't hear nothing.
Sometimes it's me, and so especially on a new device. But all right,
You
try
said
us
you
one
didn't
more
have
time.
access to any of my items. But all of my items shifted to the living room. Did you not assist your mother and sister in moving those items?
Are we speaking before the TPOs or after TPOs? Because everything that got split up and rearranged and moved and all that, the Cal County police told me do not touch none of her stuff. After we moved everything out of that bedroom, helping my mom or whatever, the Cal County police informed me don't do that again. Do not touch her belongings.
So in those items were personal information. So that would explain how you got access to that. As far as
No, I don't have. I
concerned,
didn't have
your
no.
mother said
All right, we're
she
gonna
had-
stop talking over each other because we can't do this. Ask your question, wait for your answer, allow them to elaborate if they need to elaborate, and then you're able to ask another. So what was the question?
The moving of my items from my bedroom. Did you assist in that move of my personal belongings? Did you touch my personal belongings?
I moved clothes. Yes. The only thing I was asked to move was clothes. I don't know nothing.
By
I didn't see no other.
Who asked you to move those items?
My mom. And like I said before, this was before any TPO situations happened.
Right. So before the TPO was served, you and your mother took it upon yourself to touch my personal belongings.
The same way you touched ours, yes.
And so what items of yours did I touch prior to the TPO?
Prior to the TPO, you took all of the kitchen stuff. You took the couch. You took all the common stuff in the house. I don't care that you paid for it. You took stuff that everybody uses every single day. That's wild.
I took
But
stuff
you're mad
like
at me
weapons,
because I
like
moved your clothes.
knives. I took items like knives.
I
weapons.
submitted evidence pictures. She removed all pots and pans. She removed dishes. She removed more than just knives.
I removed things that could be used as weapons. Yes or no?
Is there any more questions?
Did I
asked you
remove
if she
weapons?
removed possible weapons.
Did she remove who?
Possible weapons.
I guess so. It was still knives in the drawer with the silverware though. Not she.
Did she remove who? I can't.
So she took her set, like her,
Like the
chef
knife
knives.
block set.
Yeah, other than the chef's knives, it was still butter knives and cheese knives all in the regular silverware drawer. You took the chef's knives, the set
I
that you've
took
been
the
having.
knives that could be used as weapons. I
I
left the
wasn't
butter
about
knife.
well, anything else.
I love her.
So you said that you were unaware of what happened to the door, yet you were the only one home when the door was kicked in and the police was called that morning?
I don't know nothing about no door being kicked in because there was not no door kicked in. The Cobb County asked me what happened to the door. I told them I don't know, and they moved on.
Trish, me
didn't nobody kick no door in. There's no
Trish, this is a TPO where no one cares who's related to who knows who. It's just fantastic. That's all it is. I can't. It's fantastic.
door kicked in. I have video evidence of how the house looked when I left the house when I was served the TPO. I have video of how I left the room. I have video of how I left my belongings. I have video of everything. There was no door kicked in.
Okay.
Thank you, Tupac.
That's all the
There's
questions I have.
there's no
Your Honor.
damage.
I have no
No
further
damage.
All right. And Miss Miller, when you were, it looked like your order, I don't have it in front of me, but I think the order removed you, but told you you had one trip with a law enforcement escort. Had you had time to arrange that, or have you not had time?
No, sir. Since they told me get a couple outfits, I literally have a book bag. I've been buying clothes, buying underwear, buying socks because all my stuff is still at home. But from what I was informed on I believe May 11th, when Patina was allowed to go back to the house, that's when some of my property was damaged. That's when the cameras that was watching my belongings, all the cameras that was set up in the house were set up for a reason, to watch our belongings, because they were all just sitting in one room. She tore down those cameras. She took my bed from where it was at and put it in a pile of dog pee in the middle of the living room. My bed I basically need to buy a bed. I've been buying clothes. I've been buying toothbrushes. I've been buying everything. I'm just surviving out here without all my stuff, pretty much. I just want my stuff.
So she has, Judge E's laughing. There it is right there. He's definitely laughing. And what exactly is a toothbrush and dog pee bed? Not good. Not good when you have a dog pee bed and your toothbrush is missing.
That's all I want. I don't want to be near Patina at all. I just want my belongings from the residence. That's it. But it's just sad because everything that she's saying and doing, she wanted everybody out the house, but this was not the way to do it. You got this TPO filed on my name on lies. Everything you said I did was a lie. You got to live with that.
All right. I think I'll have to ask these questions in turn. Ms. Goodman, I don't think I'm co-hosted, but do we have any parties in the waiting room who still need to be brought to court?
We have one party named Maria. And I'll make judge.
And can somebody enlighten me? I've heard who they were with at the beginning of the day, but I have forgotten. Who brought somebody by the name of Maria?
I did for the TPO from Antoinette.
Okay. So, Ms. Bennett, we're going to hear from your witness. We'll bring them in. I'll swear them in, and then I'll see what information they have to offer us. Give us just a moment.
Hello.
Good afternoon. Thank you for your patience with us. We've had a somewhat lengthy calendar today, although I can promise you it wasn't nearly as lengthy as yesterday's. Could I have you raise your right hand for me?
Toothbrush for
Do you swear any statements you make to the court today will be the truth under penalty of perjury?
Yes,
Thank you. You can put your hand down. Can you tell us your name for the record, please?
Maria
Queen.
Mascaro.
Thank you. And how do you know Miss Bennett?
We're friends of friends. We met.
All right. We are here for protective order petitions that have been filed by some of the parties you might see on your screen, depending on how many you show at once. Do you have any information about that was directly communicated to you that is, or that you witnessed or saw or heard about violence, threats of violence, property damage, and so on?
I've heard somewhat, but it's not, I don't know the full story. The only thing I do know about the one incident that the reason why she has a protected order is nothing happened that day. It's
So let
like
me ask, were you there to observe the parties?
no, but when whatever incidents happened is just basically I didn't see anything. I wasn't there. But the one incident, the one where they had the protected order on her because she was telling people stuff and people were threatening her, there was never a threat being made to anyone. So I don't understand why they putting her in that position.
Grim, you gotta stop.
Okay. All right.
I can shed a little light.
10K slow clap for Grim.
You may need a little light shed on this a little bit. In reference to the TPO that Antoinette took out on Jalen she stated that Jalen was calling people and she feared for her life when people came to the house that she didn't know. The person in question that came to the house is Maria. She came to bring some cameras, which Antoinette and her boyfriend destroyed. But she came by to drop off cameras, and Antoinette falsely lied in the TPO, claiming she was unaware of who
these are argumentative statements.
Isn't a lie false? So what's falsely lie?
Let me, well, I was trying to get in front of you with that, but essentially sustained. So, Ms. Mascoro, have you been to the house at the Portillo address?
Yeah.
At all in the last
I've been
3
there.
months? When was the last time you were there?
The last time I was there was the day that they're saying that there was threats being made, or the day we were taking the cameras. That's the last day that I was there.
Can you estimate like a month or a part of a month where that happened?
I would say, I think it's since everything's been going on, probably like a month.
Okay, sometime in April, probably.
Yeah.
A month.
Okay, so you went out there to bring cameras,
Yes.
and you're talking about like closed circuit security camera style.
It's just
right?
just little Wi-Fi little cameras where you can see through your phone and all that.
Okay, so, and who was at the house when you went to the house?
I'm not really good with names, but it is a young lady with the blue shirt, the one that opened the door.
Okay. And so what happened when you went to the house?
Well, everything was dark, so I pulled up. We knocked on the door. Knocked on the door. I heard the dog bark, and I was looking through they have the window, the glass on the window, looking to see if anybody was in there. I knocked again. The dog came out. Then the young lady with the blue shirt came.
Why is Queen such a topic? Queen is in everyone's testimony. Queen's a little son of a bitch.
Out, and she came out and she's like, "You're looking for Jalen?" And I told her yes. And then that's whenever she said, "Oh, you have to go through the side or go around." And I went around to look, and I'm like, "Where am I supposed to go?" After I didn't see anything, so I was like, "All right, you know what?" I just got back in the car and I left.
Daylight.
Okay.
I believe she was coached into this testimony, Judge, because me and my boyfriend and my sister was there that day.
The young lady that
I'm gonna
spoke,
be
she
honest,
never
she
came
wasn't here. Hey, she wasn't here for any.
We now reach pandemonium.
Any real
Yeah, she ended up having to
testimony
talk to
providing
me.
direct evidence of violence or threats therein, and so that's kind of.
I don't know who she is. She didn't talk to me. I didn't talk to her.
Well, I guess what I'm getting at is she's admitted that she wasn't present for any altercations involving parties here. So the scope of her testimony is already limited by the fact that, she has explained why she brought cameras on that particular day. Based on Miss Miller nodding at one point, it sounds like Miss Aaliyah Miller was the one that answered the door. And that she might be in agreement as to that part of it. But the issues that we're really here to hash out today are
Thank you, Heather.
Are about more than that. That does explain how the cameras came to be at the house. It's a question in fact as to whether that was the person or people that might have been summoned by Miss Bennett over the course of the events that play out alleged in Miss Antoinette Miller's petition against Miss Bennett. I can only repeat everybody's name so many times before I just shut down. So, okay. All right. So Miss Miller, Miss Antoinette Miller, do you have any questions that you wish to ask Miss Mascoro about what she saw
Yes.
or was told or experienced?
Okay, and I just wanted to ask her, so she didn't witness anything, just to clarify that, right?
I didn't witness anything.
Okay. That was all I had to ask.
Shh, I know nothing.
All right. Miss Sharanda Russell, did you have any questions for this witness?
I thought it was remember the Johnny Depp, Willy Wonka, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory? I thought that was the 2000s Oompa Loompa. Google it.
I do not.
Thank you. Miss Aaliyah Miller, did you have any questions for this witness?
No, sir.
All right. Ms. Bennett, were there any questions for this witness that I should have asked and I haven't asked yet?
No.
All right. Ms.
Snuggie?
Bertina Russell, did you have any questions for this witness?
I do. At any time, Maria, did you see Antoinette Miller when you came to the house?
Ms. Russell, I'm going to need you to try to move again.
Is that better?
A little bit.
I don't know what's going on with this wire here.
Right, Craig?
I was saying, Maria, when you came to the house that night, did you see Antoinette Miller at all, or did you just see the one in the blue shirt?
I just seen the one in the blue shirt.
When you came to the house, other than you having a discussion as far as there's Jalen and her directing you to the side of the house, were there any other comments or words exchanged?
No, it was just knocked on the door. She asked me, was I looking for Jalen? I told her yes. And she said, go around the house. I went around the house. I ended up by where the garage is at. And I was like, I don't see anything here. So I just left. I didn't want to knock on the door again or whatever. So I just got in the car and I left.
Okay, I just have one more question. In reference to Antoinette Miller, have you ever seen her before?
Jalen's party, I think she was there when we went out on the party bus.
Right, so
everybody was there.
Everybody was there. So she has seen you before.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I have, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I got a question for Miss Maria.
Oh boy.
Miss Maria, out of the 9 years that Bertina Russell and I've been together, how many times have you been to the house?
I would say about 4 or 5 times.
Between both houses that we didn't had together, or just Patilla?
Just Patilla one.
Thank you.
All right. Ms. Mascoro, we're going to place you back in the waiting room, and from there, you're free to log off and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for being with us and participating in this process.
All righty, thank you.
All right. I still have my 5 parties. I have no others in the waiting room.
Queen is up next.
Is there anyone who I'm looking around? I think everybody was sworn in together, but everybody had their opportunity to make a statement and to be questioned by the court. Is there anyone among the 5 of you that I've missed in all of this? All right. So
he took a breath.
I will say this because I think it's important to acknowledge. We've been doing this a while, this particular hearing, but considering that it is 5 different petitions, there's a lot to work with.
5 petitions.
But with that said, for the most part, especially given the stress and the number of different relationships and interactions that are here between the 5 of you, you've conducted yourselves as a group with an amount of decency and decorum and respect for this process and understanding of how this has to be if we're going to get through it, even though I know there are times where I can hear it in your voices, even when you're not being mean. The passion, the frustration, the anger, the hurt, all of those things. And Miss Aaliyah Miller, it was hard to hear what you had to say. I want to say that and acknowledge it. I think it took a lot of courage to say that with everybody else in this room, to just take a moment to speak on what this has meant to your family as a group. And I want to say that was it was a moving statement in a stressful and uncomfortable situation about the loss that I can tell that to you especially is palpable in these circumstances. The questions that we have to answer are complicated here, and they break down across various cases in different ways, and sometimes they are affected even by the existence of other cases that are out there in the system, either open or closed or floating their way through. And so I know that the divorce case is hanging out there. It looks like paperwork continues to be filed, and that will continue to be worked on. It does not look like there's anything as far as court dates or anything upcoming that has been set yet. And what happens in these cases, I think I mentioned it may have been this case, it may have been a different case, but the T and TPO is temporary. This is deciding what things sit with what person while the rest of this plays out around you all. Especially, and forgive me, I hope this doesn't come across as derogatory, but I'm going to refer to the three of you as the kids, because you are their children. It's when you hear the testimony from the witnesses, when you hear the testimony from all five of you, it's very easy to see how the three of you got pulled into this. And I don't want to say forced to pick sides, because I don't think there was an arm twisting or a coaching or a manipulation to get you to do it. But I understand how everyone ended up where they were in that sense. And I guess is what I want to convey. We have a divorce case pending. We have a special conditions bond that will be in effect telling Ms. Russell not to have any contact with Ms. Miller. That bond has been clarified pursuant to last week's court date regarding possession of the home. And so my rulings, I'm going to try to go down the calendar for these in order, because one of the parts of this, and there's some things that are my business and my problem and how I make my rulings and handle these cases. There's some things that are not my business and not my problem as it relates to the court case. And sometimes I feel like I need to speak on them anyway. When people are married and people start pulling out a label maker and slapping their names on stuff, that relationship is way past over. I can tell you that. I can also tell you that's not a real thing. That TV, that couch, whatever it may be, if it was bought during the marriage, it's marital property. That's how that works. That's marital property. And people start, when you try to turn it into the ugly version of an I Love Lucy episode where they're putting tape down the middle of the house.
I Love Lucy.
Well,
Love it.
I'm not going to say any foul language, but it's going somewhere down below. It's going downhill quickly. Let's just leave it at that.
Judgy.
And so that, you got me, I'm going to get mine kind of thing. As parties start to go back and forth with each other, it is very much the snowball rolling down the mountain. And you end up with it just getting worse and worse and escalating to this. So the first case on my calendar is 23 PO 4104 for Tina Russell against Sharanda Russell. It is a family violence petition based on communications with third parties that involved admissions, based on the testimony given by the parties in the case. I'm going to grant a 12-month protective order in that matter that will award possession of the residence for a temporary basis to Ms. Bertina Russell and require Ms. Sharanda Russell to arrange a trip to remove personal possessions. It will specify that access to bank accounts, billing accounts, and utilities should be given to both parties to the extent that it may not have been there previously. Or if it is, I guess the better way to put it, if some sort of access has been removed in the last 90 days for anybody in either direction between the two of you, it needs to be restored. The respondent, Ms. Sharanda Russell, can arrange a trip with a law enforcement escort to retrieve any personal belongings so that she can do so safely and under the sheriff's supervision, so there won't be any allegations of any violations of any orders. And so that will be the order as it relates to that case. Position 9 on my calendar, 23 PO 4301, is Antoinette Miller versus Bertina Russell. This is a more complicated one for a couple of reasons. One reason is that the circumstances as they presently exist in this case have essentially created a separation. I hate to call it a silver lining, especially after Miss Miller, Miss Aaliyah Miller, so eloquently expressed her feelings about this family breaking up. But when things are as bad as they are, I guess what I could say is the silver lining is that this separation, this spatial separation, makes these problems unlikely to resurface, flare up, reoccur. And we're in a situation with Miss Miller and Miss Russell, where Miss Miller is going to continue to be protected by the special conditions bond she has in place from the criminal court. The question that the court has to answer and protect, one of the questions we have to answer is whether this order is reasonably likely to reduce the likelihood of future violence. And my ruling in this case, based on Miss Miller's existing protections, is that it's not necessary. And so under that standard, it would not be issued. With respect to position 10, Antoinette Miller versus Jalen Bennett, similar issue arises as these parties, as this relationship dissolves and the parties go their separate ways. I don't foresee there being communication or problems between these parties. And so based on both the evidence presented in the hearing and my analysis of that situation, that order will not be extended.
Ooh.
The
Robert!
fourth of the cases is Bertina Russell versus Aaliyah Miller. And that will be, this is a somewhat unusual order, but so bear with me while I explain it, and hopefully it will make the reasons why will make sense. Ms. Miller, you expressed a heartfelt wish to be able to get your things and go. Is essentially part of what came out. And what I'm going to do to try to create a circumstance for that to safely and reasonably happen is essentially I will grant a 90-day extension of the protective order that provides you a trip with law enforcement and an escort to complete that task. You will not be required, based on the nature of the relationship and the short term of this order, to attend or perform any kind of counseling sessions or any other obligations. It is an order that will reiterate that you should stay away from Ms. Russell, but it provides you that access to the sheriff's office to gather any belongings, including but not limited to clothing and other personal items, so that you can have them as you move forward. And then that order will automatically expire August 23rd. And the last case on the calendar today is position 12, Ms. Russell versus Antoinette Miller. And that is going to be a similarly structured order for much the same reasons. So it is a 3-month order which will reiterate the distinctions we discussed last Wednesday regarding possession of the residence on a temporary basis over the next 12 months. Unless and until the divorce court jumps in and orders otherwise. I sit literally in this row by the designation of Superior Court. And what that means is that our, I believe it's 10 elected Superior Court judges enlist the help of magistrate judges like myself on calendars like these. And so even though I sit with the full power or almost the full power of a Superior Court judge, I very much work at their pleasure. And so when they get the divorce case, which is much more permanent, that is where business gets done for good. And so this will provide for that law enforcement escort. It will also automatically expire after that time. It also will not have any provisions beyond the standard provisions of staying away physically and not having contact with the person. There will be no counseling component because the nature of the relationship between you is not a It's not intimate partner violence, which is what those classes really are designed for. One spouse toward another spouse, or a dating partner toward another dating partner. And so these orders will be prepared within the next 48 hours, and they should be on file with the clerk's office by the close of business Friday. With respect to possession of property and things of that nature, the terms and conditions will look very much like they do in continuance orders and modifications that were put forward at last, I think I said Wednesday, but it was actually last Tuesday's court date, the 16th or whatever it was. So the last time we were together. It will continue to remain like that. And my hope is that these 3-month orders will allow Ms. Miller and Ms. Miller to safely get everything they need to get without any hardship or interference. And then those orders will expire by the time that they have gone on their way to start that next phase. And then as far as Ms. Russell and Ms. Russell are concerned, that order will be longer. But the divorce court will be able to hear anything that needs to be heard, both in relation to that order and in relation to other issues of permanent property disposition, ownership, bills, debts, obligations, and so on. So we are closing in currently on 2:30. I want to thank everybody for their participation in this process, for being so organized and thorough and respectful to both the court and each other. It's a lot for anyone under any circumstances to go through the things that the 5 of you find yourself in. So I wish all of you as safe and I don't want to use the word happy, but as safe and as comfortable mentally, emotionally, and physically in movement through that process as you may all have.
Okay. All right, guys. Day 1 of the 10K celebration. We are going to be doing a top 10 all-time served 10K for 10K. Here we go. I appreciate everything. God bless everybody. Have a good rest of your Memorial Day. God bless all those who lost their lives in service. Thank you for all your veterans for sacrificing your lives. Thank you for all who are still alive, for your continued efforts making this country great. I love you all. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the donations. Members, I will see you soon. Everybody, you have been... What?